Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Walker Venrick with Sharp Sports Network, bringing you my top 3 plays for this 8-game NBA slate here on March 3rd. We have an awesome slate on our hands. We have a lot of very enticing games to attack today. For GPPs and for cash games, we have a massive team total on this Minnesota and New Orleans game. It's currently at 246.5, which is just an insane total. So a lot of people are going to be on that game, and we're going to break down my top 3 plays outside of that game. Because I expect that game to be so popular. I want to try to give you guys a little bit of edge over the field and give you some other guys from other games that are going to be able to separate yourself from the field a little bit. So we're going to jump right into this one. If you have not already, please do leave a like on this video. We greatly appreciate your support as always. And if you do have any questions, comments, or maybe some concerns for us, please let us know in the comment section below. We're happy to give you guys advice when we can. Now, starting off this video here on DraftKings, the first player I want to talk to you guys about today. He is not a stud up there in that 10K price range, but he is a stud nonetheless. We have Shake Milton for the 76ers team. He has a 19% usage rate on the year and averages 0.9 fantasy points per minute. But with Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid off the court, those numbers jump to an additional 6% to his usage rate, which is massive, to 25%, as well as an additional 0.2 fantasy points per minute, taking him to a rate of 1.1 fantasy points per minute. We just saw the young star, I think it's safe to say that now, erupt against a really tough Clippers defense for 54 fantasy points right here. It was an insane game, but he drained 7 of 9 from deep. His field goal percentage was absolutely insane. A very effective shooter on the season, but nonetheless, in 40 minutes of playing time there against the Clippers, that was an insane performance by him. A vast majority of his fantasy points just throughout the year have come from his true scoring, but I wouldn't doubt his upside in terms of filling up the box score a little bit in this matchup here against the Lakers, who have just been getting smoked by opposing point guards. Lonzo Ball and John Morant over the last 2 matchups have been very, very successful against them. Look for Shake Milton to replicate some of those performances we've seen from those 2 guys as well. He just saw a massive price bump of 1.1K from his last outing, and that is rising still. Until these guys make a return, I would not be surprised to see this price tag just push up 7K at least. He's a very, very interesting player. If you've watched him play, he's very talented as well. The Lakers currently allow the 3rd most fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. Look for Shake Milton to continue his hot streak today. I absolutely love him. They're going to give him plenty of run today. Even if this game was to blow out, I don't think it's going to blow out drastically. I don't think it's going to be some 30-point thing going into the 4th quarter. Could it be? Yes. But I think it'll be within 20. And if it is, Shake Milton should see absolutely normal run and be just fine today. I love him. I hope this price tag scares people off of him because he's somebody that I don't want to miss out on today. Going over to my next play, over to FanDuel as always, I have him pulled up. We have Miles Bridges, in my opinion, another rising star. He has a 21% usage rate on the year with Devontae Graham off the court, and he averages an additional 0.1 fantasy points per minute. That takes him just under 1 fantasy point per minute on average. Today he has a very favorable matchup, though, so look for that efficiency to be a little stronger than what it is statistically with Graham off the court. Probably going to be 1 fantasy point per minute or over that. He's coming off of a very tough matchup there against the best defense in the league, the Milwaukee Bucks, where he underperformed for sure. But again, like I said, very tough matchup. He shot very ineffectively from the field. I love a bounce back today for Miles Bridges here against a Spurs team that allows a ton of fantasy points to opposing forwards, and I doubt he's going to be very popular at all today with so many other options in his price range. He could pop for 40-plus fantasy points today with ease against a much softer defense coming on that bounce back, like I mentioned, compared to Milwaukee 2 days ago. He's one of my favorite GPP plays of the day. I would not play him in cash games, but I think he should have a much higher field goal completion percentage today than he did in his last outing. So look for him to like I said, bounce back and get things back on track. With no Devontae Graham, somebody's going to have to take over for this team, and I highly doubt it's going to be Terry Rozier. So look for Miles Bridges to be a key part of their offense today and fill up the box score. Similar to Shake Milton, not a player that you look to fill up that box score, get a ton of assists and rebounds, but I would not be surprised to see him snag 6 to 8 boards today, throw up 5 assists, and score 20 real points, and like I said, pop for potentially 40-plus fantasy points. Miles Bridges could be a tournament-winning play today, and I do not want to miss out on him. I will have my shares for sure. Jumping over to Monkey Knife Fight, though, one of my favorite plays of the day over here. I mentioned at the start of the video, we have this massive game total on this Pelicans and T-Wolves game currently at 246.5. Two of these guys, Brandon Ingram and Malik Beasley, are very, very interesting to me. Brandon Ingram has an insane matchup starting at the 3 for this Pelicans team against the Wolves, who have allowed third most fantasy points per game to opposing small forwards on the year all year. They've been first, second, or third all season long from what I can remember, and I love Brandon Ingram to smash 42.5 today in this massive total game. Malik Beasley, I also find very enticing here today, but matching up against Drew Holiday and Lonzo Ball is not an easy matchup. With this massive total, though, and with this insanely fast-paced game, we have the third fastest team in the league, the Wolves, and the fourth fastest, the Pelicans. I do like Malik Beasley to crush 31.5 fantasy points. I would not be surprised just to see around 34, 35. I don't think he's going to drop any sort of a slate-breaking 40 fantasy point performance today, but because of the pace and because of the total, it only makes sense to take the over on him. Again, I know it's a little bit of a tougher matchup there against guys like Drew Holiday and Lonzo on the perimeter, but because of the opportunities that these guys are going to see, you just have to think that they're both going to go over, especially a guy like Malik Beasley, who's going to be pulling up from downtown as much as he does. If you have not already signed up on Monkey Knife Fight, I am going to keep telling you every single video that I am offering to pay for your first deposit of $10. All you have to do is sign up, use code SSN. When you deposit $10, they will match the deposit. You will have $20 in your account if you reach out to me or SSN on Twitter. We will send you that $10 back. It is a free $20 to get started with over here. I cannot stress that to you guys enough, but moving on to my last play, we have another mid-range play. We have Trey Lyles, who has seen, obviously, a gargantuan price bump from where we're used to seeing Trey Lyles. He's averaging 0.88 fantasy points per minute on the year, but over the last 2 games, he's averaging just over 1 fantasy point per minute, and he has been playing absurd minutes. With LaMarcus Aldridge and Jacob Poeltl out today, that absurd minute rate should continue. He's playing a Charlotte team that allows the second most fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. I expect them to likely start the same rotation that they did yesterday with Drew Eubanks starting at the 5 and Lyles at the 4. Regardless, Charlotte allows the 4th most fantasy points per game to opposing centers, so it really does not matter. It is a favorable matchup regardless of where they start Trey Lyles today, and with these insane minutes, I expect them to see another 35-plus minutes today. They are only 3.5-point favorites over the Charlotte Hornets team. There's no reason that he should slow down at all today. So look for him to continue his hot streak against guys like Biyombo and PJ Washington down low inside. If he can snag some extra boards again in this very favorable matchup, he should have his best outing potentially since the LMA injury. So look for Trey Lyles to continue that hot streak today. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure again to leave a like. We do really appreciate that. And then if you do have any questions for me, feel free to reach out on Twitter during the day. A lot of you guys have been doing that lately, and it's awesome getting DMs from you guys and being able to help you out with your questions. But I will be seeing you guys in the live stream later on Twitch around 4:30, 5 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you guys come out to that. The link is in the description below. If you do have any other questions for me, the live stream is the best place to get them answered if you can make it there. If not, again, feel free to reach out on Twitter. Do as you wish. I hope to see you out at the live stream. If I don't, I will see you tomorrow. But again, thank you guys very much for coming out today, and good luck on this slate tonight.